Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Intersint podcast. I'm Kenese.
And I'm Mike. This is now the second attempt trying to do the intro. First one we scrapped. This one, she starts as I'm drinking water, so I'm like trying to rush before I get to my name.
Hey, it's hot here. I'll give it to you.
It's very hot. And we had such an interesting morning. We did a 5K.
Attempted
Attempted a 5K. And then we're back now and recording.
Yeah.
And it's such a weird timeline of a day to do.
It's 80 degrees outside and we did a 5K. I don't even know how we're alive right now.
Yeah, I'm burnt. I know that for sure.
I mean, I'm brown and I still got burnt. I know that doesn't really have any scientific meaning anymore, but still.
And we're talking about like, oh, this is coming up. I think it's like, 2 months away.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have time to like train, practice on the weekends. We did none of that because it's been raining and cold.
Mm-hmm. And the one day that the 5K does happen, it's 80 degrees outside.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, this is our practice and training is the day that we're supposed to be doing this.
Which, if we did actually get into hiking season, this would have been a good start.
What, this weekend?
Like doing a 5K, just to get into the mentality of being active.
Oh, yeah.
But I was looking at next month as the projected forecast, and it's just going to be raining all of June.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's June, it's summer, come on.
We shouldn't be having all this rain. Like, you tease us with this little bit of nice weather, and it's like, just kidding. We're going back to some rain.
Psych, bitch.
And it was a lot more people than I expected to be there.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like the track wasn't very laid out very well.
No.
For the amount of people that were there. Like, there were these tiny little sections. So you have this whole group of people. So no one, like, you would have to run into traffic to go around people if you wanted to.
And the thing is, there's so much construction going on because they're rebuilding, like, the residential space, too. So it's like, you could have tried and made it a different path that doesn't go through the construction area.
Yeah, and I wonder how do you shut down a road? Like, is it possible to, like, say, this road is going to be shut down for a little bit of time?
You could, because if you do it on weekends, you can shut down, like, that specific area of road and just make a detour.
Oh. Well, I mean, like, I wonder what the protocol is to shut down a road. Because, like, film companies do it all the time, and you have these, like, festivals that go on that shut down roads at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And back whenever I lived on the East Coast, we were going to film something, and one of our ideas for the short film we were going to make required us to shut down our road in Pittsburgh.
Oh. Uh-oh.
And I'm like, how do we do this? Like, how much is it going to cost? Who do we even talk to get this going?
The city, I guess?
I guess, but that would have to be so expensive.
Mm-hmm. Because you have to, like, put in an application or a permit or something and pay money to, like, have that shut down, but then also plan around for a detour.
Well, I could only imagine with something like us, it'd be like, oh yeah, you guys, you do nothing important, so we're not shutting down the road for you guys.
Who are you?
Yeah. Humble us real quick. And then we also had what's the word? My brain completely blanked on this.
I can see your...
You can't see my brain.
I can see your face. You had thoughts, and then you were processing thoughts, and it just, like, poofed.
Yeah, it really did. We had a revelation recently, too. We went out to breakfast.
We did.
And a PSA to anyone. What does PSA stand for?
Public service announcement.
So that we're doing that right now. I'm glad you knew that because I had no clue what that meant.
Really?
No, I just PSA and then you say something important. That's all I knew.
They shoved that in our heads in middle school.
It's hard to. I don't know if we talked about this already, but yeah, I grew up in the farmlands. Yeah, we talked about that.
We
last
did.
episode.
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't teach us anything. So
I feel like you and I had two very different school experiences, despite being a few years apart.
Yeah, it was even so, I'm all over the place. So the 5K we had was at your college.
Yes.
And even seeing that compared to the college I went to, I'm like, holy hell, this is like fancy and there's so much.
And then it's been 6 years since I've graduated, and they're still developing it.
It's one of those things that if you were to come to the East Coast and I show you my college that I went to, you would be confused as to how this is a college. Like, it's a big building, don't get me wrong, but it's like just a single building just with multiple floors that you go up. Anyways, PSA. We have a PSA that if you're ever in a restaurant and you see, if you have the option between whipped cream and what's called Cornish cream or clotted cream, go for the clotted cream.
Oh, man. That was amazing. That's still in my head.
Yes.
Like, I want that right now.
We had no clue what it even meant.
We just ordered it because I wanted to try it.
Yeah, it just said, oh, whipped cream or Cornish cream. And you said, oh, what's this? I kind of looked it up, but we didn't really know what it was. And it was just like, oh, well, I'm going to get it. And turned out to be the best decision ever because...
I will never go back to whipped cream, ever.
Never, ever, ever. It is whipped cream, but thicker and better.
I would want that right now with like a bowl of fruit.
Ooh.
That sounds so good right now. Okay, I'm being a fat ass. I just had breakfast.
Yeah, we both just had breakfast. But ever since we had that, I keep thinking about it. I'm like, I just want that more. I just always want that with the breakfast.
I feel like if I want to, at some point, I want to like just have a batch in my fridge, just ready to go.
That's the thing. I don't know how long it actually lasts for. Because I want to make some. But I'm like, how much do I actually... It's not difficult to make.
No.
It's like, it takes about 20, 30 minutes for the short version. Or if you want to do the long version, it takes like 12 to 13 hours. But it turns out the same, so it doesn't matter. But sure, how much do I use? And how much does that yield whenever I make it? And then is that going to be either A, enough to last me for whatever I need it for? Or B, is it going to be too much and I can't get through it fast enough?
Yeah, it's going to be in my dreams tonight.
So yeah, it sounds bad. Clotted cream doesn't sound delicious.
No.
But it is.
Like when I first saw that, I was like, is this going to be, or is this close to cottage cheese in terms of texture?
Yeah, because I mean the American way of saying it is Cornish cream, and I can get that feeling too from it. But I mean, why would you name something clotted cream? It sounds disgusting.
It's Europeans, man.
Never saying anything correctly. Which like French toast they call eggy bread, which technically British people, I think.
Of course they do.
Which I get. It makes sense logically. French toast is eggy bread.
Sure.
Why do we have foods named after the French?
I don't know. I think it's just because they wave the white flag, so we have to at least give them something.
Like French toast, I'm sure they don't even know what that is over there. We have French fries, which I think they don't even have over there at all. So like, why are we associating this? Oh, it's fancy. It's from France. It's fries.
My phone crapped out. It's not charging anymore. Okay, so I have an iPhone XS Max. I wanted to run this thing to the ground. And my plan was to get the iPhone 16 when it came out September. My phone decided to kill itself a few months before that day.
That's how it always works.
Exactly. And I was at work and I needed to make phone calls. I needed to go into meetings and my phone was at 10%. I put it on charge. And like 3 hours later, it was at 3%. So I'm like, wait, my phone isn't charging. And so everybody and my desk clump around me was like, do this. Here's my block charger, try this. Here's my charger, try this. And it did not work. To the point where everyone was like, yeah, you need to go to the Apple store.
No.
I'm like, I don't want to do that though, because I know they're going to tell me I just need a new phone.
Yeah.
And that's what I ended up doing. I had to get a new phone because this thing wouldn't charge. I have it on charge now at 18%. And I've had it on charge all day.
I wonder if it's one of those things that, like, so you have it on charging the entire time. Have you tried, like, you probably have. You have it plugged in for a long period of time and then you restart it, does the number change after you restart the phone?
No.
Oh, okay. I was thinking maybe it might be a glitch with just the number in the corner.
I tried turning it off and leaving it off and having it charge for about 30 minutes on Friday, and it didn't charge.
It's just this frustrating thing we have. It's not new. It's been happening where if you have a product, by the time you buy it, it's already obsolete with the parts inside of it.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, I bought this monitor, but they don't make the pieces inside of that monitor anymore. So if it's screwed, I'm done.
Exactly. And I went to Best Buy yesterday to get this thing checked. And they said that everything's working fine. Like they ran diagnostics and everything. There's nothing wrong with the port. It's not the charger. It's not your phone. So I'm just like, what the hell is it? Fucking figure it out.
Well, I think what would be worse is if you got home, got your new phone all set up, and then the other phone started working immediately.
I would have been so mad.
This is why I wasted my time.
Because I don't even buy directly from Apple anymore. I go to Costco because they have that 90-day policy to return it.
What's the Apple policy?
14 days.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
It's just weird how lately everything is just designed to just screw you over.
Either that or like it's designed to planned obsolescence, I guess.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I feel like they have like a predetermined date. By like this day we want to like make it all go to shit.
Pretty much. And so if you want a product that isn't crappy, like say you could do a KitchenAid mixer or a Vitamix blender, you're paying $500-$600 for this thing, but it's gonna last you forever.
Exactly. Yeah. That's like the thing with like the 90s too. Like I feel like everything built back then was made to last, and now it's more just built to fail at a certain amount of time.
I wouldn't even say 90s. Well, I kind of in the 90s too, but I feel like even before that, before we were around, it was more so the case of being built to last.
Oh yeah. My parents still have an iron and ironing board from like the 70s or 80s.
Oh, wow.
And it's still going, and I'm like, wow.
I used to have a blender. Or not a blender, a mixer. I think it was from the 70s or something. This thing was heavy as hell. Like if you had to mix up dough or something, your arm was so tired from holding this thing up. That thing just kept trucking. It wouldn't die. And I think I unfortunately left it in Pittsburgh whenever I moved.
Oh.
So don't have that anymore.
Do you think you'd ever get it back?
Oh, no.
Oh.
No. If I ever saw the landlords again, I would have to probably run or something because they would not be happy.
Uh-oh. What did you do?
It's not... so there's... Okay. So when you have roommates, you don't have full control over everything that happens.
That's true.
One of my roommates' girlfriend's sons was like jumping on the bed and fell through the wall.
How?
I don't know, but it was a giant hole.
The giant human-shaped hole.
Pretty much. And my roommate, I kept telling him, hey, fix this. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to get on it. Never did. And then he moved out and the hole was still there.
Nice.
So I had to go buy the stuff and put it all together, which I thought it would be hilarious if I bought Halloween a skeleton and I put it in the wall. I thought that'd be hilarious, but then down the road it might be a huge thing of like cops getting involved at some point or something.
Yeah.
But did that, and then I had to then match the paint of the walls. So I had to go, I think to Home Depot, they did a paint match. It was kind of close, but not enough. So I had to do like this fading technique to like make it look like it matches, but it doesn't. When I had my dog, and as a puppy, he chewed up some of the carpet.
Uh-oh.
So I had to go and buy like pieces of foam and like pieces of a carpet that kind of matched, and I Frankensteined it together to look right and stuff.
Wow. What do I feel like you lost a lot of security deposits back in the day?
I've been good. It's these roommates and animals that are screwing everything up for me. I tried to just fix it to not be noticeable, and I feel like if they noticed it and they are not happy with it, then they're not going to be happy with me.
Let's avoid that entire situation while we can.
Exactly.
No, but yeah, my whole point with the whole phone thing is like just companies wanting to just screw you over at a certain point. just so like they can make money.
Pretty much. It's like, oh, we know this is broken. We could fix it, but we're going to charge you so much for it. Just buy a new phone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a way to keep you in the ecosystem and keep you buying.
Yeah.
Instead of just fixing.
Because like they come up with something every year. Like what is the need to release something new in quotes, I guess, every year?
And the new is, hey, you get a slightly better camera and slightly more storage.
A button. Here you go.
And a button. And people lose their mind over it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is so revolutionary. It's like, no, it's not.
It's really not.
It's one of those things where these companies I don't know what's going on. Have you seen anything with these AI assistants that are coming out?
Part 2 of last episode. Okay, no, I haven't.
This is pretty much, I forgot to bring it up last time, but you haven't heard of the Rabbit?
Rabbit, no.
I'm surprised this went under your radar. Here, let me show you real quick. So this is the Rabbit.
Okay.
It looks cool.
Sure.
On a surface level.
Yes.
And what this is an AI assistant.
On what?
On this. This is the assistant. So what you do is you push that little white button on the side, and it acts like Siri. So when you click it, it listens, and you ask it a question or something.
So this is just a device?
Just a device, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So the screen is touchscreen, but only like 1% of the time. Like you can't actually use it to touch things. You need to use the scroll wheel on the side to scroll up and down the menus.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so there's this, and then there's there's this, which is called the Humane AI pin. And what it is, you wear it on your shirt, and like that bottom flat piece, you tap it, and it acts like Siri. Again, you ask it a question, it will give you an answer. Except for this one, it has a projector on it, so like you can hold your hand out in front of you, and it'll project onto your hand, and you can see the menus, and you can interact with it that way.
That's interesting.
Right. The problem is you're building these physical products for things we don't need. Yeah. Like we have these assistants on our phones.
Exactly.
And it's crazy because MKBHD did a video on both of these. And like he tapped on the AI pin standing in front of a Cybertruck, and he asked, what is this thing you're looking at? He let go of the button. He waits, pulls out his phone, takes a picture with his phone, and does an image search from his phone faster than that thing was able to come back with a result for him.
Okay, you know what this thing reminds me of? Do you remember back in the day, Amazon used to have those Prime buttons?
Oh, I forgot about those. Yeah.
That's what this reminds me of.
I remember back when those came out. This was before like everyone realized how much of a douche Bezos is. I remember wanting to get those because I'm like, oh, it's so convenient. You just have to push a button and you order the thing. It's like, this is the future. And it wasn't. Like, no. And I was thinking, dude, like, what if you had friends over? This was during college. I had this. What if you have friends over and them being friends were like, oh, I'm going to push all the buttons and order all this stuff. Ha ha ha. Funny. And that immediately put me off from it. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
No. It'd be useful if you don't have friends.
That's the secret to life. Just don't have friends and you'll be okay.
They won't fuck you over.
But yeah, so it's like a lot of theories with these two devices is that, oh, they're trying to get these devices out before Apple does their announcements and Samsung does theirs, because these are things that can easily be replaced with an app or a function within the phone.
Yeah, but then even then, it's like you already know that's going to happen, so then why even release it?
For money. Remember during back in the day with the whole Kickstarter, Indiegogo stuff?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
People were just putting up fake products like, oh, we're going to build this. It's going to be amazing. And they would collect millions of dollars and be like, oh, sorry, we don't know how to make this. It's too complicated. And that happened all the time.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I feel like that we're just now in that phase again where companies are like, oh, here's this really cool product. It's going to be so cool. And then you get it and it's like, doesn't work half the time. Makes your life more miserable.
This is like the shit that you see on Temu.
Temu. Have you actually checked out Temu stuff?
I have, yeah.
Is it just Wish?
It reminds me of Wish, yeah. Wish, and then there's like another Chinese e-commerce website, Alibaba.
Oh, that's an old one.
Yeah, and it's still around. People still buy off it. My brother actually ordered off Temu, and the stuff that he got was like absolutely hilarious. It's like one of those things you'll find like at a dollar store or be like a cheap knockoff of stuff, which makes sense.
Well, for the price, yeah.
You're paying like what, $2 for this thing? It's like, yeah, what do you expect?
Is it just like Wish too, where like you order a product, but the one you get isn't the one you ordered?
Yes and no. Like there's good stuff. It's just the quality isn't that great.
Oh, that makes sense.
Like you're getting what it's advertised, but you're not getting the quality of what's advertised.
It makes me wonder how places like this even stay in business.
Yeah.
Like Wish was around for a long time.
For a long time. I remember like saving stuff on Wish and then never buying stuff because I knew like, oh, this has to be too good to be true.
It always is.
Exactly.
But with the phone thing, going all the way back to that, it's aside from the fact of, oh, you're so close to getting the brand new one and then yours decides to go out.
Yeah. I'm still pissed about it too because I never wanted the phone that I have now.
What do you mean?
Like I never wanted the 14.
Oh.
I would never wanted the 15. I got the 15 too. And that's charging, the same charging issue. It would never like hold or like I'll charge it to 100% and an hour later it drains down to 25.
I do remember that, yeah.
I returned it and went back to my 10S and I'm like, I love this thing. I will never throw it away until I absolutely have to. Guess that day is here.
I was kind of the same with my last phone too, where it was cracked and broken and
I remember that.
But it still worked and it was fine. I'm like, I'm riding this to the ground. And unfortunately that came out of nowhere and decided not to turn on anymore. And I lost everything I had.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the one good thing about this phone is it has the capability to do night photography.
Oh.
So my brothers have the 13 and the 14, and their picture quality is amazing. It was on Friday night. Seattle had like Northern Lights come up here, which is very rare. You slept through it.
No one even told me about this.
I figured you guys talked about it at work.
No. Literally no one mentioned it.
Wow.
At all, ever. And it's not until I wake up and I get a text from you and it's like, the Northern Lights are outside, get outside. And I'm like, what?
I text you every single night you stay awake past 11:30.
Yeah. And the one night I decided to be responsible and go to bed early, I missed something that I've been wanting to see forever.
I figured you'd be awake, so I'm like, get your ass out and go outside. You were sleeping.
That's just life. You're like, oh, I'm going to be responsible, and that's when something happens that you would have seen if you hadn't changed your way for the better.
Moral of the story is don't be responsible at all.
Don't be responsible. Don't have friends. Just be chaotic and be a lone wolf.
Yes.
But you saw them, right?
I did, yeah, and I have a few pictures. I need to edit some stuff out because I just want it to be like a clean picture.
I get that.
But there was a point to all this.
I felt like there was a point to everything we talked about, but we never actually got to the point, and we just moved on.
Our whole conversation, we had a point.
There was a point from the beginning, and we never got there.
Yeah.
But the Northern Lights was supposed to happen again last night.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to stay up, even though I'm like falling asleep on the couch. I'm going to stay up, and whenever I take the dog out, I'm going to go out, and I'm going to see it. It's going to be cool.
What time did you go?
Outside? About 11, which is when you happened to text me the night prior.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, going out. I'm walking outside, looking up in the air, staring, and like, where's the cool colors? I want to see this. Nothing. There was nothing there.
There was nothing on Friday night either, but you had to like wait for a flare.
Oh, it wasn't like a constantly going thing.
No, there were flares, and all we saw was like normal sky, but there was a gray streak. And so we pointed our cameras at it, and that's where it showed.
Oh.
A lot of people were saying that they showed up around 3 a.m. last night. I'm not going to stay up that early, that late.
It's just one of those things of just like, don't go to bed, I guess.
Don't sleep. Don't have friends. Don't be responsible.
We're teaching you everything you need to know right now on this episode.
The keys of life. How to succeed.
Do I just get my lawn chair put outside and just stare at the sky all night waiting for something to happen?
This is why you go to like Alaska, because you can easily do that and it's there.
I was thinking about that whenever you mentioned the whole Northern Lights thing of what if we went to Mount Rainier?
I really wanted to do that.
That would have been really cool.
We wanted to go to North Bend on Friday.
Oh, that'd have been nice too.
Yeah, but it was already like very late. I'm like, I don't have the energy for this.
Pretty much just anywhere to get away from the light pollution.
Exactly.
It's just so you can see stars and you can actually see the sky.
Which is surprising that we even saw it where I live because there's so much light.
Yeah, that is very true. Whenever I was outside looking, all I could see was the moon and maybe one star, and that's about it. It's one of those things of, I've always wanted to see that.
The one time you didn't have to travel to do that.
Yeah, I don't have to go anywhere. I could just look out the window and see it, but nope, I missed it.
Next time.
If there's ever a next time. Now I feel like I need to be watching the news nonstop just to make sure that I know when it's happening.
This is what you get for deleting all your social media.
That is true. But now I have time to do other stuff.
But my mental health.
Yeah. Which I was looking at too. Apparently in Texas, they got to see it.
Yeah.
Which is weird that it went that far down.
It went down to Italy on that side of the world. It went down to San Francisco here.
Oh, wow.
Like people saw it. Yeah.
Because I was looking at, after you told me about it, I did a little bit of research. And the predictions of it was barely even going to make it into Washington.
Exactly, yeah. Like, there was mainly in Canada and then, like, parts of northern Washington. And to have witnessed that here, it's like, hey, you guys were totally wrong.
It's crazy because the more I was looking about it, there's going to be solar flares, which is going to cause the northern lights. But it was like, the status of the solar flares was extreme, which is why we were going to see some of it. And kind of made me laugh of how there's this extreme phenomena happening that's not good technically, but it's like, oh, look at all the pretty colors.
Wow.
Yeah, here's this extreme event, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
So aside from all the talk about technology and whatnot, you hit me up with some news.
I don't know how true this is. This could be something that a fan made, but there's more to this whole I don't know why I'm following this. I guess it just pops up on my TikTok.
We're all following this.
I'm not. I don't care. just stop. Apparently now Future and Metro Boomin are beefing with Drake, which is, yeah, go off. We like to see Drake's downfall. But he sampled this. Well, okay, let me start from the beginning of how this all came to be on my end. I was just scrolling TikTok because I was bored, naturally. And TikTok is good for my mental health. Fuck everybody who's trying to take it away. But I was scrolling TikTok and I see, or I watched this one video of like, oh, now Fall Out Boy's feuding with Drake. I'm like, this can't be real. But apparently, like, I guess it's not because I did a little bit more research on it. What happened was Metro Boomin put out a sample of these few lyrics dissing Drake. People took that and like started creating their own remixes to it.
Oh.
And what popped up on my feed was an emo version of that. And my 14-year-old self fell in love with these couple of lyrics, and I was just replaying that over and over and over again. I'm like, this is so good. My angst.
So it's not actually a real thing.
Apparently not. But people were saying, oh, Fall Out Boy is like feuding with Drake now, all-time low, MCR. I'm like, this can't be real. So I did more research on it, and it's just like people redoing the sound.
Oh, that'd be really cool though if that was the case.
I'll send it to you because it's absolutely hilarious.
It reminds me of, do you remember the whole Trapped feud?
Vaguely.
Where the vocalist of the band Trapped came out and was, I forget what he was saying, but he's pretty much dissing everyone in the music scene. And it's the one time where like all these emo bands and metal bands and punk bands came together to like shit on this guy over and over again. It's like the one time every genre of music collectively came together for once in history and was one.
Oh man, just seeing like stuff like this come back has got me on like, oh dude, okay, we have to talk about this whole nostalgia kick going on.
Oh, I mean, yeah. There's a lot. Which one in particular?
I don't know, but like this whole like millennial music, emo music, pop punk coming back. Best Buy yesterday was just playing like all these songs from when I was like in middle school. And all these flashbacks came in. Like, okay, I love these songs, obviously. Why back to back to back?
Someone who is just very into the emo thing just got a hold of the playlist and is like, I'm going to take control of the music today. Screw you guys, we're listening to My Chemical Romance.
I'm in my sad boy era.
It is insane how, I don't know, I guess the whole nostalgia thing is just the selling point for everything, because
I guess
I just sent you the other day that the early November just put out a new song. And I feel like maybe they have been putting out music this entire time, but it feels like it's been a very long time since they put out anything else. The band Thursday, they put out a recent single lately.
I saw that. I still have to listen to it.
It's been like 13 years since they put out music, and they're just like, oh, hey, we're back now. Here's a single. It's like, where did you come from? It's the craziest thing, too, of like, what do these bands do when they're not in bands anymore?
Right?
Like, do you get a normal job at that point?
I don't know. Now I want to know.
I do know. This was way back in the day. There's a band called A Skylit Drive. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I do remember that, yeah.
Apparently when they disbanded, this one guy, this was on Reddit a long time ago, but a guy recognized his mailman, and it was because the mailman was the drummer of A Skylit Drive. I'm like, well, that's interesting, but is that the case for every single person, that they just get normal jobs? And how do you deal with that?
Yeah, really. Especially if you were like a big band back in the day.
Exactly. Like pretty well known, and then all of a sudden it's like you're a manager at some department store or something.
At that point, do you ask for a picture?
Like
imagine the people around you, but you recognize like, okay, say like you're a manager at Ross, or like you see a manager at Ross and he's like, or was a drummer from like this big band back in the day, and you recognize him and you ask him for a picture. What would the people around you think? Oh, you're just asking for a picture from this Ross manager.
Or it's like, yeah, oh, big fan. I love your work. Can I get a picture? And they're like, you love his work of managing these people at the store? It'd be crazy, dude. Like you ask someone, like, oh, I couldn't find this size. Do you have this in a whatever? Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, shit, I know you. There's so many times like that I had that same thing on a lower level. I'd go to shows all the time on the East Coast. And there was one time I was at the show and this guy was standing in front of me. I'm like, that's the vocalist of this one band that I saw one time a couple months ago. And so I went up and I talked to him like, hey, you're the vocalist of this band, right? And he was like shocked that I knew who he was.
Aww.
And he was so happy. And he's like, oh yeah, we're not a band anymore, but yeah. And it's like, and there's another time where it was a different band, but I recognized the guitarist from a different band. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh hey, you used to be in this band, right? And he's like, oh yeah, I didn't know you saw them. And then like the bassist came over, it's like, I used to be in that band too. And like, oh, calm down.
Attention.
Someone knows our old band. I want to talk. I'm the bassist. No one wants to talk to me.
Oh, that's cool though.
Yeah. It's little moments like that probably make their days a little bit better.
Or like gave them some sort of validation at some point that like their projects that they put out back in the day did something to somebody.
That's true. There's so many stories of this, of bands having to work normal jobs to pay for the things that they're doing. It just blows my mind when, okay, I'm gonna do a quick little nerd jump for the music.
Okay.
So the original vocalist of A Skylit Drive left and they got someone else. And then he just went about his life and had a normal job, I think. And then he started up another band called Watch Out, There's Ghosts. And it's one of those things of, you were already pretty well known prior to starting this other project. So what is that experience like, working a normal job, trying to fund up your next project, but you're kind of already known?
Right.
It's interesting.
Because like I've always wondered with like smaller bands when they go on tour, obviously you can have to like fundraise money by like working a job. But then it's like, if you're going on a month-long tour or so, do you just quit that job?
Sometimes.
Because I can't imagine like companies being willing to give you a month-long vacation, paid or not.
That is true. I never really thought about that. Like even whenever I was in my band, the most we did was 2 weeks, I think, of a tour.
Okay.
And that was just vacation time at work, and it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
To do a month long, I don't know. Hey, I'm not going to be here for a month. So I don't care if I use up my vacation days. I'm just going to get through this and I'll be back. Don't worry. I guess you just need to have a job in line. Like what we do, I don't think it'd be acceptable. But if you worked at a place like a department store or something where they already have a ton of people working for them, then it's like, yeah, be gone for a month and then they have enough people to cover for you not being there.
That makes sense.
I guess. I'm just completely guessing here.
Oh, I thought you were real. I thought you were serious.
How do we get here?
I don't know.
Oh, the drink thing.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
how this led to
Jeez.
the conversation of local bands.
I know because it happened because of the whole emo thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's like with all these other bands getting on TikTok too, or like vocalists getting on TikTok now.
It's cool, but it's weird at the same time. I guess that is the platform now. People just go to TikTok.
I guess, yeah, but I mean, I think it was recently signed that it's getting shut down if they don't find an American buyer for it.
But I also heard that they're suing the American government.
Good.
Because it's not, I mean, I agree completely that it's not fair to say, hey, you need to sell it or get rid of it, or it's getting banned. That it doesn't make sense to me that someone can legally do that.
Yeah. And there's only like a few reasons why I can think that they're doing that. It's all political.
Oh.
So we're not going to get on that here, but...
I thought you were going to say the privacy thing.
Yes and no. But there is more of an agenda as to why they are banning TikTok, as opposed to like something like YouTube Shorts where it's owned by like an American company.
True. I don't know. My whole thing, you know this, but the reason I got rid of TikTok, I only had it for not long.
I downloaded it during the pandemic because I was like, I'll just check it out, just see how it is. What is this new social media craze going on? Yeah, and then COVID happened, and then I was like, well, I'm bored. Let's go see what this is all about.
Little did you know you were going to be spending most nights doom scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I know you're about ready for bed, is whenever my text messages are just TikTok. All right, well, this is what she's doing right now.
Good night.
But yeah, I got rid of TikTok because you and I happened to see a jumping spider outside. And it's kind of a big jumping spider, but it looked cool. And I was like, oh, hey, little buddy.
No, thank you.
They're cute. Jumping spiders are cute.
They're cute if they're away from me.
They don't have the creepy long legs and big bodies. They're like little puppies, but spiders.
I'll take your word for it.
But I saw this and I was talking to you about it. I was like, oh, I just saw this jumping spider, blah, blah, blah. And this was all through text. Never spoke the word jumping spider. Never did an image search for jumping spider or any type of search. Is specifically just in a text to you, I said the word jumping spider. I opened up TikTok later that day. Mm-hmm. Not even later that day. It was like shortly after that. And all of my videos were about jumping spiders.
Yeah, now that makes me question, my algorithm and what it's looking at on my end. Or did you have your privacy stuff turned off or not set correctly?
What? Maybe. I didn't know there was more that I could have turned off.
I don't know, because that's never really happened to me.
Weird. Well, I also just recently had this happen too with YouTube Shorts, where we were at work, the group and I were talking about something specific. I can't even remember what it was, but it was a weird topic that we never talked about. I never talked about to anyone. And then later I'm on YouTube Shorts and I'm getting shorts dealing with the topic we were talking about at work.
That's scary. I don't like that.
That one doesn't happen as often. Like that one is, but the whole TikTok thing of being spot on, which means it was reading my texts to know what I sent.
Yeah. See, at that point, you should just get one of those Motorola razors and just call it a day.
I still have mine.
Oh yeah, you did show me, huh?
I would have to get a new battery, but I do actually still have it.
I wonder how much a battery would cost.
The last time, so I had to use it one time because my phone at the time broke. And I needed an emergency phone just to have to communicate. Mm-hmm. So I went to the Verizon store and they had the battery for the razor still. And I want to say it's like $20. So I just grabbed a $20 battery.
Oh, wow.
Plopped it in. And even that $20 battery, within a month of using the phone, was almost dead and like burnt itself out. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's another thing we need. We need more innovation back in the phone company. I'm tired of these rectangles.
Right? Oh, remember Sidekicks?
Yes.
I was always jealous of the people who had one. I was never allowed to have a phone, by the way, at least until college.
Oh, okay.
So that was my life. And I had to convince everybody in my family to get a phone because I'm going to college.
Yeah.
So I finally got one. My first phone, I guess, technically was an iPhone 6. But I remember just being in high school, always wanting not high school, but like school in general, of always wanting the Razor or like the Sidekick. And I'm like, oh, not fair.
Yeah, it's weird too because this Razor, back when I had it in college, it lasted me all throughout college and it went through hell, that phone.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know what happened for the batteries to not really be working later on.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say something, but now I forget. Damn it.
Story of our lives.
I know. Oh, yeah. So I was the same way. My parents didn't want me to have a phone.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I was younger, it's like this new thing. It's like, oh, you're not allowed to have one. You're not allowed to do all this stuff. The way I got around that, along with a lot of the ways I got around with a lot of things, was I made them realize how much of a mistake that is to not let me have a phone.
How?
What did I do? I think I was at a friend's or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then something happened and I couldn't get a hold of my family. And then there's another thing where I was driving somewhere and I was supposed to be back by a certain time, but I wasn't. And then I do finally come back and they're like, where were you? I'm like, if I had a cell phone, I'd be able to call you and tell you that I wasn't where I was and I was going to be a little bit late.
Smart.
And then because of that, they're like, oh, yeah, well, I guess we're going to get you a cell phone then. Same thing happened with, like, they put parental locks on my TV.
Oh, okay.
And the way I got around that was, it was weird. It's so strict too with, like, even MTV was parental locked.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't never allowed to watch any of the shows like that.
Oh, okay.
Like a lot of stuff was banned at my house.
Yeah, so if I wanted, like, I would go onto MTV and like, oh, well, it's just music videos. Why is this blocked? So I'd get my dad, he'd come in and put in the password. And then I was like, wait a second. So I went to another channel and then I came back to MTV and I'm like, yeah, I wanted to see what else was on TV. Can you come do the password thing? Because I want to watch music videos again. And I did that over and over again, like 5 times in the span of like 20 minutes. And he's like, here's the password. Just, I don't care.
Wow.
There's ways around things.
You're a sneaky child. Now I know why you are the way you are.
What? What does that even mean?
A lot.
I know how to get around stuff.
You do.
It's crazy. Like, we grew up in an era where parents were more restrictive with stuff like that, but now we're in the era where kids are like, the parents are actively giving them these devices.
Oh, yeah. That couldn't be me. With my experience with social media and whatnot, I will never be one of those, if I were to have kids. Not saying that's going to happen. I don't.
If it happens, it's 99% chance it's not going to happen.
It's not, no. But if it were, I will never put my child into all that.
Yeah.
Like, just look at iPad kids and how they turn out.
That's true.
Like, I'm not going to be banning them. Like, there has to be, like, a middle ground or, like, some sort of balance.
That's just the way it is with everything. You have to have that healthy balance.
Exactly. You can't be doom scrolling TikTok until 2 a.m.
at the age of 5.
Or 28 in my case.
I mean, I have the same problem with YouTube Shorts where I'll doom scroll it.
You do.
It's a problem. I'm like, okay, one more. And I watch, I'm like, but that one wasn't funny, so one more.
That's my whole thing, too. That's what wasn't interesting enough.
Yeah. I want one that's really funny, and I'm like just trying to find that funny video. And then before I know it, it's like 1 a.m. I'm like, oh, what was I doing this entire time?
Damn it.
Even last night. So I'm trying to stay up for the Northern Lights, and I'm on the couch. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to watch YouTube Shorts to pass the time before I got to get the dog out, and then I'm going to look for these lights. And I would like go to a video and pass out for a little bit, and the video's just running on repeat.
That's been me for the past couple of weeks.
And then I wake back up, I'm like, oh, next video. And then I like fall back asleep again.
Except in my case, I'd like text you some random stuff, like a letter.
Yeah. You would text me a letter. You would text me a letter and then react to that letter that you sent. So it's like the letter
tired.
S. It's the letter S, and then you put a smiley face to the S. It's like, what are you doing?
I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I made a reminder in my sleep, I guess, with the letter. I forget what it was. But it was just a letter.
I think that's what it was. It was an S because you showed me that too.
Yeah. And I don't even know how I did that in my sleep. Like, went into my reminders app, created a reminder, and set it for like a certain time.
What were you dreaming about to get?
I don't know.
It's good. I haven't done that in a long time. I think it's mainly because I keep my phone away from me.
That makes sense.
But back in the day, I do remember waking up in the morning and seeing a conversation with people, but it's just a bunch of letters and no spaces because I'm just in the middle of like...
I've done that.
And like at first they play along with it. They're like, what are you doing? And then afterwards they're like, oh, I'm not even responding anymore.
Yeah, I'm done.
But I think that's pretty much everything for today.
We went through a lot. I'm sorry if this was all over the place.
We started with a 5K and we ended with doom scrolling TikTok.
If anything, I mean, that's how a lot of our conversations go in general.
That's true. And I don't know how we connected the dots between any of them, but here we are at the end of the episode already.
An hour later.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's going to be the episode this week. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe. Go follow our Instagram over at Intersint Pod. And we will see you next week.